Welcome back, dear friends. Do you believe in astonishing coincidences that happen around us? Listen to the story of the incredible lives of two twin brothers. But first, let's review a few words that will help us better understand their story. Curious. To be curious is to want to know or learn something.
The curious cat looked inside the empty box.
Discover. To discover something is to find it for the first time.
The explorers hoped to discover a new island.
Discuss. To discuss something is to talk about it with other people.
We sat down to discuss our plans for the holiday.
Extra. Something extra is more than what is usual or needed.
The teacher gave us extra time to finish the test.
Fiction. Fiction is a story that is invented and not true.
I enjoy reading fiction books about space travel.
Follow. To follow is to go behind someone or something.
The little dog decided to follow its owner to the park.
Immediately. If something happens immediately, it happens right away.
The ambulance arrived immediately after the accident.
Neither. Neither is used to say that two things are not true or chosen.
Neither of the two keys could open the heavy door.
Odd. Something odd is strange or unusual.
It was very odd to see snow falling in the middle of summer.
Probably. Probably is used to say that something is likely to happen.
It is probably going to rain because the sky is very dark.
Reunion. A reunion is a meeting of people who have been apart.
The family had a happy reunion after many years.
Stranger. A stranger is a person that you do not know.
The boy did not talk to the stranger on the street.
Tension. Tension is a feeling of worry or nervousness between people.
There was a lot of tension in the room during the big meeting.
Themselves. Themselves is used when people do something to or for them.
The children built the wooden birdhouse by themselves.
Though. Though is used to connect two ideas that are different.
The food was very good, though it was a little cold.
Universe. The universe is everything that exists in space.
There are billions of stars in the vast universe.
Great job! But our journey doesn't end here. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and let's keep going. The Curious Case of the Jim Twins. In 1940, in a quiet hospital somewhere in Ohio, two identical baby boys were born. They looked exactly alike, cried at exactly the same volume, and kicked their tiny legs in perfect synchronization. The nurses joked that the babies were already practicing for a synchronized swimming team. But their story took an unusual turn almost immediately. The boys were adopted by two different families and raised in different towns. Neither family knew the other. The babies grew up completely separate from each other, never suspecting that somewhere out there was a person who shared not only their face, but strangely enough, much of their future. And here comes the first coincidence. Both adoptive families decided to name their new baby boy James. That meant that somewhere in Ohio, two identical boys were growing up with the same name, Jim. Neither family had any idea. For 39 years, the two Jims lived separate lives, but their stories began to follow paths so similar that if someone had written it as fiction, editors would probably have rejected it for being too unrealistic. Let's start with childhood. Both boys grew up loving mechanical things. They enjoyed fixing bicycles, taking apart radios, and occasionally putting them back together again, sometimes with extra screws left over. Both struggled in school with spelling, but were very good at math. Both developed a habit of biting their fingernails, and both had tension headaches that mysteriously appeared around the same age. But the coincidences didn't stop there. When the two Jims grew up, each of them chose the same career. They both became police officers. Not in the same city, not even in the same county, but still the same profession. By now, the universe seemed to be playing a strange game, and then came marriage. Both Jims fell in love, both married women named Linda. Yes, really. Statistically speaking, this is already a bit odd, but life was only warming up. Both marriages ended in divorce, then each Jim married again. And this is where things become truly remarkable. Both second wives were named Betty. At this point, if the universe had a sense of humor, and it certainly seems like it does, it was probably laughing very hard. The similarities continued. Both men had sons, and both fathers decided to name their sons James Allen. Well, almost. One spelled it James Alan, the other spelled it James Allen. Close enough to make anyone raise an eyebrow. The Jims also shared the same hobbies. Both enjoyed woodworking, both loved driving light blue Chevrolets, both spent their vacations at the same beach in Florida, though not at the same time and without ever meeting. Both even owned dogs named Toy. Yes, Toy. Not Rex, not Buddy, Toy. Imagine being that dog and realizing somewhere out there exists another dog with your exact name whose owner looks exactly like your owner. It's enough to make a dog question reality. And then there were their habits. Both men smoked the same brand of cigarettes. Both drank the same brand of beer. Both had a habit of leaving notes to themselves around the house because they kept forgetting where they put things. If someone had secretly been copying one Jim's life and mailing instructions to the other, it would have made more sense. But there was no such person, just coincidence, or something very close to it. For nearly 4 decades, the two men lived these parallel lives without knowing the other existed. Then one day, in 1979, curiosity finally pushed one of the Jims to search for his biological family. After some paperwork, phone calls, and the kind of patience normally required to assemble very complicated furniture, he discovered something surprising. He had a twin brother named Jim. The moment of truth arrived when they finally agreed to meet. Imagine waiting 39 years to meet someone who looks exactly like you. When the day came, one Jim arrived early and sat nervously in a small room. He tapped his fingers on the table and wondered what this stranger, who was somehow also his brother, would be like. Then the door opened. The second Jim walked in. They stared at each other. Same face, same height, same hairstyle, same mustache. For several seconds, neither spoke. They simply stood there blinking, like two mirrors trying to understand which one was real. Finally, one of them laughed. "Well," he said, "this is going to save a lot of time at the barber." The two men spent hours talking. With every new detail, the story became stranger. "Wait," said one Jim, "your wife's name was Linda?" "Yes." "And then you married Betty?" "Yes." "And your son is James Allen?" "Allen, with 2 L's. They paused. "This is getting weird," said the other Jim. But the strangest moment may have come when they discussed their dogs. "You ever have a dog?" one Jim asked casually. "Yeah," said the other. "Name was Toy." Silence filled the room. "You're kidding," said the first Jim. "Nope." Another pause. "Well," one of them finally said, "I guess Toy is a popular name." After their reunion, the Jim twins became something of a scientific curiosity. Researchers studying genetics were fascinated by how two people raised separately could still develop such similar lives, habits, and preferences. Scientists debated nature versus nurture. Was it genetics? Was it coincidence? Was the universe just in a playful mood that year? No one could fully explain it, but the Jim twins didn't seem too concerned with the mystery. They were just happy to have found each other. Of course, they also discovered something useful. Whenever someone forgot which Jim they were talking to, they could simply say, "Jim," and both would answer, which saved a lot of time. And, perhaps, somewhere out there, the universe smiled quietly to itself, satisfied with one of the strangest coincidences it had ever arranged. Thanks for learning with me today, and see you in the next lesson.